Alright guys, Army, this community, we seriously need to talk about something that's been quietly shaking the fandom, but the more you look into it, the more it feels like this might not just be a rumor anymore. Because, what if I told you? Jungkook and Jimin are rumored to actually own the same house in Los Angeles? Yeah, not just visiting, not just staying in the same place for a few days, but owning a space together. And I know, pause for a second because that alone already sounds insane. But don't click away yet because the deeper you go into this story, the more questions start to appear, and trust me, by the end of this, you might see their relationship in a completely different way. Now, let's slow this down for a moment. We're not talking about just any two people. We're talking about Jungkook and Jimin, two individuals who have spent years growing together in front of millions of eyes. From trainees to global superstars, we've watched their journey almost like a movie, full of laughter, struggles, quiet support, and moments that felt way too genuine to be scripted. And that's exactly why this rumor hits differently. Because if this was about anyone else, maybe we'd ignore it. But with them, it feels personal. And here's where things start getting interesting. Fans began noticing patterns, not suddenly, but gradually. You know how we are, we don't just watch, we observe. There were times when both Jungkook and Jimin were spotted in Los Angeles around the same period. Not always publicly together, not always obvious, but enough to make people pause. Enough to raise eyebrows. And at first it was easy to brush it off. Work schedules overlap all the time, right? Artists travel. They record. They rest. It's normal. But then the conversation started shifting. Because it wasn't just about them being in LA. It was about where they were staying. And this is where things get a little complicated. Some fans began speculating that they weren't just randomly choosing hotels or temporary stays. There were whispers, again, nothing loud, nothing confirmed, that they might be connected to the same property. A house. A private space. Something that didn't feel temporary, but intentional. And suddenly, this wasn't just coincidence anymore. Now think about this with me, guys. Out of all the places in the world, Seoul, Tokyo, New York, London, why Los Angeles? Why that city specifically? And, even more importantly, why would both of them be tied to the same house? Because, let's be real here, these are two of the biggest artists in the world. If they wanted privacy, they could each easily have their own space anywhere. No limitations. No restrictions. So the idea that they might choose to share or even just be connected to the same place, it raises a deeper question. Is it just convenience, or is it something more personal? And this is where the story starts to shift from just interesting to something that actually feels emotional. Because when you look back at their history, their dynamic has always stood out. There's a level of comfort between Jungkook and Jimin that goes beyond what we usually see. It's in the way they interact without thinking. The way they naturally gravitate toward each other. The way even their smallest moments, like a glance, a laugh, or a quiet exchange, feel meaningful. And that kind of connection doesn't just happen randomly. It's built over time, through shared experiences, through trust. So when rumors like this appear, it doesn't feel impossible. It feels believable. But wait, because here's where things get even more intriguing. Some fans started asking a different kind of question. Not just do they have a house together, but what does that mean if they do? Because owning or sharing a space isn't just a casual decision. It's not something you do without thinking. A house represents stability, comfort, a place you return to, a place that holds memories. And if two people choose to be connected to that same place, it says something. Now, I'm not saying we should jump to conclusions. We have to be careful with that. There's a line between curiosity and assumption, and we need to respect that. But at the same time, we can't ignore how this makes us feel. Because, let's be honest, part of being in this fandom is not just about facts. It's about emotions too. And this hits right at the center of that. Imagine this for a second. A quiet house somewhere in LA. No cameras. No staff. No schedules. Just a space where they can breathe. Where they can sit down after a long day and just exist. Talk about anything. Laugh about nothing. Or even just sit in silence without it feeling awkward. Doesn't that idea feel comforting? Because for people who live under constant pressure, who are always expected to perform, to smile, to be on, having a place like that is rare. And if they found that kind of peace in the same space in each other's presence, that's something special. But again, here comes the twist. We don't actually know the full truth. And that's what makes this whole situation so powerful. Because we're stuck in this space between what we see and what we feel. There's no official confirmation. No direct statement. Just clues. Timing. Observations. And a whole lot of interpretation from a fandom that cares deeply. And maybe that's why this story keeps growing. Because it invites us to think, to wonder, to imagine. What if those late-night studio sessions turned into quiet evenings at that house? What if the moments where they seemed extra relaxed, extra genuine were connected to time spent there? What if some of their most real, most unfiltered memories happened in a place we don't even fully know about? And suddenly, it's not just about a house anymore. It becomes a symbol of something private, something untouched by the outside world. And that's rare, especially for people like them. Now, here's another thing that people aren't talking about enough: the timing of all this. Because this rumor didn't just randomly appear out of nowhere. It came at a time when both Jungkook and Jimin have been exploring their individuality more, their personal growth, their own paths. And yet, this connection still appears. Almost like, no matter how far they go individually, there's still something that brings them back together. And that idea? That's powerful. Because in a world where everything changes so quickly, where people grow apart, move on, take different directions, the idea of two people maintaining a strong connection like that, it resonates deeply. And maybe that's why the fandom can't let this go. Because it's not just about curiosity. It's about hope. Hope that some connections stay strong no matter what. Hope that behind all the fame, all the pressure, there are still real, meaningful relationships that exist quietly. And Jungkook and Jimin, whether they realize it or not, represent that for a lot of people. But let's ground ourselves again for a second. Because as much as this story feels real, we have to remember that it's still a rumor. And respecting their privacy is important. We can talk. We can speculate. We can feel. But we shouldn't assume. Because at the end of the day, their lives are theirs. And maybe, just maybe, some parts of their story are meant to be fully known. And that's okay. In fact, that might be what makes it even more meaningful. Because not everything needs to be explained to be real. Some things you just feel. And this is one of those things. So whether you believe they share a house in LA, or you think it's all just coincidence, you can't deny the impact of this story. It makes you think. It makes you go back and rewatch moments. It makes you notice things you didn't notice before. And most importantly, it makes you feel connected, not just to them, but to this entire community. Because we're all here, wondering the same thing, trying to understand something that might never have a clear answer. And somehow, that shared curiosity brings us closer too. So now I want to ask you, honestly, what do you think? Do you believe Jungkook and Jimin really have a house together in LA? Do you think it's just a coincidence that got blown out of proportion? Or do you feel deep down that there's something more to this story that we're only beginning to see? Let me know in the comments, because I really want to hear your perspective on this. And if you enjoyed diving into this story with me, if you felt that curiosity, that excitement, that emotional connection, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and be part of this growing community. Because trust me, this isn't the last time we're going to uncover something that makes us all stop and say, wait, what's really going on here? I'll see you in the next one.